Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, the Afro Gardener. Today I'm going to be telling you guys seven things that every gardener should know. Let's get into it. The first thing on the list that I want to talk about is flowers. I have a bunch of flowers over here, and how you get or increase the production of your flowers is by deadheading. Deadheading is just basically pulling off the spent flower head, where the flower petals have already started falling off, and it's just kind of done blooming. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, let me show you. This flower is done. Is it big? This flower is done. It's pretty much done. So all I'm gonna do is use my fingernail and kind of just pull off. I didn't mean to pull that much off, but just pull off the head of the flower. And so it kind of sends a signal to the flower that says, hey, we need to put off some more flowers, because all the flower petals, the flower heads, have seeds. So it just tells the plant, like, hey, we need more flowers to put off more seeds. And so that's what it does. And I just kind of go through. I kind of need it both hands, and I just pull off the heads of the flowers, and it really increases the amounts of flowers that you're going to have, especially with like cosmos and other flowers. Yeah, hold on, let me get some water. It's hot. Woo! The next thing I wanted to talk about is join a gardening group. You need to join a gardening group. And I say this because you're going to have, when you start doing something like this, there's usually a community for it. And these communities will help you if you're dealing with a certain type of issue, or if you just have questions, or would like to kind of see what other people in your area are doing. I live in Tennessee, and so I'm in a group specific to my area in gardening. So a couple months ago, whenever the freeze came, I was on the group, and everybody was kind of sharing ideas and talking about what we were going to do to protect the plants that we've already put in the ground from the frost. And it's just kind of cool to see people in your area, because a lot of times people have extra plants that they want to give away. They're giving away food, and it's really awesome place to kind of share ideas, share plants, cuttings, things like that. So I do encourage y'all to join a group in your area, because you never know. You know, it could be somebody, you could become friends and stuff like that. And I just think it's a really good idea. Now, this next thing is kind of plant specific, but it's something that I didn't know, and so I wanted to share it with you guys in case y'all don't know, because we're all still learning. So this is like my tomato area, and what I noticed is some of my tomato blossoms started to dry up, and they weren't being pollinated. So I was trying to figure out, like, where's my fruit at? And so I was doing some research, and just like right here, I guess because the deck is here or something, I don't know, but they weren't being pollinated. But tomato plants self-pollinate. So what I started doing is just coming out here and shaking or hitting my tomatoes just to kind of make the pollen shake around or whatever. So shake your tomato plants to kind of get the pollen flowing, and kind of just shaking around in the area, just to make sure that your blossoms are being pollinated, so they don't dry up and you're not missing out on some fruit. You're not missing out on your tomatoes fruiting and everything. So that's that on that. The fourth thing on the list is pay attention to the forecast. Pay attention to the forecast. Because personally, what I have been experienced here lately with my tomatoes and some other things is we've been having some crazy heat, and some crazy rain. And so I made the mistake of overwatering some of my plants, my tomatoes specifically, and they started to crack. Now, a way that you can kind of combat that is pay attention to the forecast, because I would water them and then the next day it would rain, and I was just like, dang, I didn't know it was gonna rain. You know why I didn't know it was gonna rain? Because I didn't check the forecast. So what I have started to do is check the forecast, and if we're not gonna get any rain for like 7 days, I'll make sure that I water my garden. But if we're gonna get rain, I'll kind of just pay attention and hold out with watering and not water until it's gonna rain. Like, for example, it was like 3 days where we didn't get no rain, but it rained yesterday. And so I did notice that some of my plants were starting to get kind of wilty, but I wasn't worried about it because it was going to rain. And it rained pretty good, like the bottom fell out, so they got a really good watering. And so I'm trying to not overwater, because whenever you're gardening, you do want to make sure that you're watering your plants deeply and not just on the surface level. You want to make sure that you're giving them a really good water. And so I just started to pay attention to that, pay attention to the forecast, how hot it's going to be. Is it going to be too hot? If it's going to be too hot, and there's not going to be rain, you do want to make sure that you're watering your garden really well, really deeply, to get down in those roots if it's not going to rain. So definitely pay attention to the forecast. It's number 4. Number 5 is plant flowers. Now right here, let me go ahead and turn y'all around and pull y'all down some. So right here you see my marigolds. I don't just have marigolds, but I have marigolds, some chamomile flowers, sunflowers, zinnias, and some other types of flowers. You want to make sure that you plant flowers around your garden because it's going to attract pollinators, and you need pollinators to pollinate the flowers that are going to be setting your fruit. So you want to make sure that you plant flowers to attract those pollinators, because we need them. We need need the pollinators to pollinate the flowers that's going to come before our fruit. Just like a side note, this ain't a number, but just like as a side note, every fruit that you have, everything that you're going to consume is going to have a flower before the fruit comes. The flower comes before the fruit. So you want to make sure that you have a way to attract the pollinators, attract the bees, the butterflies, all that, because you need them to pollinate your stuff. Because if you don't got no pollinators, you ain't gonna have no fruit. Usually, some things self-pollinate, like tomatoes, but and here's one now. Let me show y'all. I need you. Ooh. Where'd you go? I need you. I need you. We need the pollinators, so plant flowers. Number 6 on the list of things that every gardener should know is grow vertically. And I'm going to tell you why. You need to grow vertically because if you just grow stuff on the ground, everything is going to eat it but you. Number 1. Number 2, it will save a lot on space. For example, tomatoes. You can grow tomatoes on the ground. However, you're literally going to put it in a place to where everything is going to be able to get to it, except for you. You're going to have a lot of pest issues, and you're going to look up and everything's going to be eating your stuff because it's on the ground. You can use bamboo poles, sticks, stuff specifically made for trellising, to keep your stuff off the ground. You can grow tomatoes vertically. You can grow, and I'll show y'all. Hold on. You can grow beans vertically. These are vining beans, and so they vine. And so all I used was bamboo and welding wire to trellis these. to keep them off the ground. You can also grow watermelon vertically. What I did here is I planted it in the ground and I just kind of made a cage for them to grow. You can do this with sugar baby watermelons, but you probably can't do it with the huge ones just because they really need room. Like, you really got to give them room because they're going to be so big. But that is something that you're going to have to let grow on the ground. But if you can, try to get everything growing vertically, to keep it away from bugs, to save on space, and to make it easier to harvest whenever it's time to harvest your crops. Also, I know it kind of looks a mess, but I also grow my cucumbers and squash vertically. Now, the summer squash that I have growing kind of just bushes out, which is cool, but the cucumbers set off these vines, and so you don't want them to be on the ground because, again, everything is going to have access to your stuff via its bugs, pests, or rabbits. So you really want to keep the stuff off the ground to keep everything from eating your stuff, because it's just going to happen, I mean, it's going to happen, and you can try your best to prevent it by growing vertically. Number 7. The 7th thing that every gardener should know is get you a chair. I recently got me a chair so I can sit and enjoy my garden. I know it does take a lot of work to grow food. It really, really does. And this is only my 2nd year growing, and the work has increased because I really, we're trying to really do this thing as far as, grow food and have a sustainable life where we can kind of sustain ourselves. I really want to get to like 80% self-sustaining. And so I know that there's a lot of work that goes into that, and we're really in the beginning stages, but it's so beautiful. You really should be able to sit and enjoy your garden. So girl, get you a chair, get you a bench, build you a little pavilion or whatever you want to do, but get you a place to where you can sit down and enjoy your garden. Because at the end of the day, yes, it is a lot of work, but it is beautiful to sit in and look at. And so that's what I'm going to probably do after I'm done making this video. And those are the 7 things every gardener should know. Thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be uploading every Tuesday and Friday. I'm getting it together, yes. And so definitely like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I love you guys. Be blessed and have a great day. Bye.